Once Upon a Time by Hobbit Falls, an archive of our own. Narrated by Kimberly Likes. Chapter 4 Rapians. Ace sighed as he looked out of the window of an extremely large tower he was in. His long hair splayed behind him. Thoughts of what he set to do back in Beauty and the Beast still ran through his mind, and he cursed himself for being stupid. Of course Deuce doesn't really love me, he huffed. He was just saying that to get out of that story, wasn't he? Before he could think harder about that, a yell from beneath the tower stole his attention.
Rapians, let down your hair.
Ace shuddered at the voice, recognizing it as Azul's. Great, I guess he's the one who locked me in this dumb tower. Grumbling to himself, he hefted a large chunk of his hair onto the windowsill and let it cascade down the side of the tower like a waterfall. How come I get stuck being the one with long hair? He winced a little as he felt someone start climbing up the tower, and barely managing to suppress a shudder when Azul's head popped up.
Oh, Rapians,
he greeted, climbing into the tower.
I have a surprise for you.
Oh, lucky me, Ace thought sarcastically before forcefully putting on a smile. What is it, Father?
I brought your favorites,
Azul said in a sing-songy voice.
Cherry pie.
Ace flinched at this, taking the basket from Azul's hands. Thank you, Father, he thanked, praying that it wasn't poisoned. Oh, what's the special occasion?
Silly child,
Azul replied.
How could you forget your own birthday?
Right, how forgetful of me. Ace chuckled weakly. I must have been too occupied in asking you for a birthday present. Azul grinned, taking his traveling coat off.
And what would that be, my dear Rapians?
I want to leave the tower. Just as Ace said this, Azul whirled around to face him, anger on his face. Ace winced, memories of an overblotted Azul filling his mind.
Now, Rapians,
Azul said coolly.
Remember what I told you? The world is dangerous out there for someone like you. People will take advantage of you and do horrible things. The safest place for you is in this tower. Don't forget it, or you'll regret it. Father knows best.
Ace swallowed nervously before nodding his head. Yes, Father. Azul smiled warmly at him before making his way over to the dining table and setting up.
Now enough of this seriousness,
he said.
It's time to celebrate your birthday with some cherry pie.
Deuce, you better find me soon, Ace thought as he made his way over to Azul. I don't know how much of this I can take. Far off in the woods near the tower, Deuce was not having the best of times either. The story had decided to make the Leech twins his hunting companions, and the memories of what happened at the Mantra Lounge came flooding back to him. An arrow whizzed past him, and he flinched as Floyd ran up to him laughing. You need to get your head out of the clouds, sire, he teased, poking Deuce in the forehead. You're never gonna find that boy you always dreamed of if you don't pay attention. Deuce immediately turned red as Ace's face entered his mind. He shook his head before smiling at the twins. I apologize, my friend. He apologized. I must have been off in dreamland. Jade approached, giggling a bit as well. You must be, sire. He grinned. You must really want to find someone. Deuce opened his mouth to retort, but a rustling in the bushes grabbed his attention. Floyd and Jade perked up as well. The twins gave each other a grin and took off towards the sound, Deuce following after a few seconds. All three of them ran, coming to a halt when they entered a large clearing. A tall tower stood in front of them, the only available entrance being a window at the very top.
Eh?
Floyd hummed, looking up.
What's a tower doing here?
Interesting. Jade hummed along with his brother. Deuce blinked at the tower before realization hit him. Rapunzel, he thought, which means Ace is up there. Movement in the tower made Deuce spread his arms out and push the Leech twins back into the cover of the forest. Long, orangey-red hair soon cascaded down the side of the tower, and Deuce had to hold back laughter as he saw Azul climbing down the hair.
I will be back, Rapians,
he yelled when he reached the bottom.
I forgot the other surprise for your birthday.
I will see you soon, Father. Ace's voice came through the window. Azul grinned before heading off into the other side of the woods. The hair was brought back up into the tower, and all was silent once more. I've never seen hair that long before, Jade whistled. Should we investigate, sire? Sire? Deuce had bolted towards the tower, not looking back to check if the twins were following. He came to a halt right before the tower and looked up, hoping to see Ace at the window. Sire? Jade asked as he and Floyd joined Deuce. What's the matter?
It's him.
Deuce answered excitedly.
It's the boy from my dreams.
He cupped his hands around his mouth before yelling upwards.
Rapians, let down your hair.
Almost immediately, hair was thrown out the window and the three of them stepped back as it plummeted to the ground. With a large grin, Deuce took a handful of the hair in his hand, marveling at how soft it was. Is his hair usually this soft? His face instantly became red at the thought as he turned towards the twins.
Can you two keep a lookout?
He asked.
I'll be right back, I promise.
The twins simply smiled and nodded.
Go see your boy, sire.
Floyd chuckled. Deuce gave him a glare before he began to climb the tower. Halfway up, he dared to look down, only to see the twins waving up at him. He sighed before finishing his climb and tumbling in through the window. That was probably the fastest time we met in one of these stories.
Ace!
Deuce grinned, running forward and hugging him. Whoa, calm down there. Ace chuckled, hugging him back. I've never seen you this excited to see me.
I need to answer you.
Deuce replied, letting go of Ace.
To what you said back in Beauty and the Beast.
Deucey, calm down, Ace said, placing his hands on Deuce's shoulder. You don't have to tell me right now. We still have 4 more stories to get through after this one.
But
2 yelps came from outside, causing Deuce and Ace to run towards the window. Jade and Floyd were nowhere to be found, and Azul had entered the clearing. You were stuck with the Leech twins? Ace asked, shuddering at the thought.
And apparently Azul is keeping you hostage.
Deuce replied, almost shuddering.
And there's no time for me to escape using your frankly really soft hair.
Thank you? Ace thanked in confusion before shaking his head. Hide in that closet over there. I'll let you out when he's gone. Deuce opened his mouth to make a joke, but a glare from Ace shut him up, and soon he was hidden in a closet.
Rapians, let down your hair!
Coming, father! Deuce waited with bated breath as silence wafted over the tower until... Geez, father. Ace huffed. You're a lot heavier than he is.
Ace, you dumbass!
He?
Azul asked, a sneer in his voice.
Who is he?
No one. I was just talking about someone in my dream. Footsteps were heard approaching the closet, and soon the doors were flung open.
Found you.
Deuce yelped as Azul grabbed him and began to drag him towards the window. He began to panic and tried to wrench free from the other's grasp, to no avail. Ace was soon by his side, pleading for Azul to let Deuce go. "Father, please," Ace begged. "Don't hurt him. I love him." This made both Deuce and Azul freeze, both with shock. Seeing his chance, Ace ran forward and yanked Deuce out of Azul's grasp. This caused both of them to go tumbling. Deuce into Ace's arms, and Azul backwards out of the window. Both flinched when the sound of Azul's screams were cut short by a small thud. "Are you okay, Deuce?" Deuce turned to Ace, suddenly becoming aware of how close they were. Both of their faces turned red as they moved away. Yeah, I am," came the reply, followed by a small cough. You? Mm-hmm. They sat in silence before Deuce turned back towards Ace and took one of his hands. Ace looked up nervously at him, and Deuce began to speak.
Did you mean...
He was cut off by a glowing light between their hands, causing both of them to groan. Ace smiled weakly at Deuce before nodding. Deuce's eyes widened in realization as both of them disappeared.
Can you tell I'm getting a little bit addicted to this series? I can't help it, it's getting too interesting. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. As always, the fic will be down below if you want to read along with me, as well as art that I featured in this video. Please support the original artists, they deserve it. And as always, stay safe out there. Thank you for watching. Bye!